Coach, we saw obviously a lot of emotion from you after the game, just talking about what it means to win at Murray State. Can you kind of speak to where that emotion comes from for you and why it means so much for you, for this program, not to accept losing?
I told our team after the game, I don't care if we're playing the Dallas Cowboys. When we put on the Murray State helmet, means so much to so many players that's played here, the tradition here. We're going to give it our all from the first snap to the last snap, and we're never going to accept losing in this program or losing habits, is what I told the players from the day one I've got here, and it's always going to be that fact. And can't tell you how excited I was to get all the text messages, encouraging word from former players and fans, and we look forward to being able to get back on the field again this Saturday and hopefully have a good showing.
What was the biggest takeaway from that game now that you've had time to go back and look at the film and work with the guys?
The biggest takeaway from the Missouri game, I loved our fight, and we competed from the first snap to the last snap. The disappointing part was some of our execution at times. I thought we had an opportunity to make some plays against a really good football team that we either missed on the execution standpoint. And sometimes the ball didn't bounce our way or didn't get a call to go our way, I felt. But that's football, like life. And the main thing I was impressed with was our fight. And I think we had some guys really step up and show, come on, Reed on defense, covering some really good receivers. Thought our defensive line played really good. Coach Smith had the defense flying around. And offensively, I was impressed with our running backs, breaking some tackles against some SEC defenders. And we had some guys competing on the offensive line as well.
A couple of bullet play calls there. Of course, the onside from the start, the couple going for it on fourth. Is that the kind of identity you want to build here?
Yeah, we were really aggressive, and I told our guys, look, when we play a team that's probably going to be bigger, faster, stronger, like Missouri, in my opinion, it's going to be a national championship contender. We're going to have to take chances and be aggressive, and really felt like we had a chance to get the onside kick there, inches away from getting it. And then I didn't really agree with her. Didn't think we got maybe the best spot on a third down previous to the 4th and 1, so I was a little aggressive right there, trying to go for it, give Missouri credit for stopping us there. But I think I wanted to set the tone with our players that we're going to never back down from anybody. We're going to be aggressive. We didn't come here for moral victories. We're coming to Murray State to win football games, and that's going to be our plan.
Offensively, you guys obviously struggled. Again, it's against Missouri, but coming out of that game, how much do you need to see that side of the ball develop before you heading into Saturday? Because you're wanting to see, obviously, more production out of those guys.
Offensively, yes, we did struggle. And I think a lot of it, like I said, we had 9 players doing the right thing and maybe 1 or 2 off on a play. And when you play a team like Missouri, you have all 11 executing at a high level. So, this week, that's been our challenge to our players, to clean up the execution. We want them playing as fast as we can. And I think we'll have some guys show up, some different playmakers. We got to be creative in ways we get them the ball. And, I challenge our coaches, and ultimately on me, we got to do what they do best. That's all positions, but we got to put them in position to make plays. And, I think we did get some guys get some confidence coming out of that game offensively. A lot of guys, especially on the offensive line, it was their first time playing together. There's a lot of them, their first time ever playing in a college football game. And I told them, I said, well, hey, guys, when we got off the bus, that's what you are. You're a college football player. You got to play in college football games. So, I think we'll see a lot better performance from a lot of guys that kind of got that first game underneath their belt.
You told us a couple weeks ago that your starting lineup's always going to be fluid based off of what you see from games and practice. After that first game, do you start experimenting now with other guys before you really kind of get into the thick of your schedule now that you have an opportunity to?
Yeah, and I've challenged our players. We got back about 5:36 a.m. off the bus Friday. We put the Missouri game to bed, and I told players a while ago in our team meeting, there is no depth chart. We're going to have guys show us what you can do well to help us win a football game. So that's going to be our weekend challenge this week during practice. Show us some redeeming qualities, what you can do well to help us win football games. Because, like I said, we've got so many new players. A lot of them, first time they're playing college football, and they're still developing, learning, and whatever they do well, they got to keep improving that, and whatever they do bad, they got to, correct those mistakes as well. So I think we're going to have a really good week of practice, but I told them we're constantly trying to get 1% better every day.
How much do you have to keep that intensity up with those guys the same way they prepare for Missouri now that you're playing a team in Butler that is obviously not at that level where this is?
Butler had a really good game last week. the one thing you notice when you watch them on film, they play extremely hard. They're extremely well coached. They're disciplined. I mean, you're going to have to go take their wheel because they're not going to make many mistakes. They play good, sound football, credit their coaching staff. So we're going to have to, execute at a high level this week, just like every week. But, challenging our players, I think so many of them, when you have so many guys that hadn't played together, I constantly we're talking about playing winning football, whether that's no penalties, not turning the ball over, finishing plays. There's so many things, knowing situational football, what the down and distance is, and what to anticipate and expect on certain plays. So, we're going to keep hitting that and, just day by day try to keep getting our 1% better.
I haven't worked with these guys all summer.
Yeah.
Now haven't seen them in a game environment. Is there anything kind of new you've learned about your guys or any big takeaways after seeing them in that game environment?
Yeah, I think the big takeaway was we had some guys, I think, that showed up better than we thought would from a competitive standpoint, holding their own. Unfortunately, I saw some guys that you could tell it was their first time playing football. And, I kind of tell them, like I told our players it's a big book. We've got 12 chapters. That was chapter 1. I said there was a little coffee spilt on the pages, maybe some pages ripped in that chapter 1 of that book, and that's on me as the head coach, being aggressive, and I'll take full responsibility for that loss against Missouri. And chapter 2, I told them, I said every good book, each chapter leads up to something even more special.
Excitement being the first home game for you here.
Yes, so excited for our first home game. I've been out in town delivering posters, talking to people. Our players have. Our athletic administration's got a really good plan. We plan on selling out this first home game is our goal, every home game. So I can't tell you enough how many former players and people, the excitement I've been getting. So we're going to be out there, and I'll be every day, all day, trying to get the stadium packed. And our goal is to have a great atmosphere and hopefully have Racer One run around the track a lot.
My last thing is, obviously, we're talking to Justice here in a second.
Yeah.
We talked to you about him last week, but can you speak to the difficulty that he has trying to make that adjustment after being away for 5 years from football and trying to get back into that?
Yeah. The thing about Justice, Juice Hill, when you see him, you see the athletic ability, why he was a great football player in high school. You see why he was a really good Division I point guard. And just like anything, you're learning a new offense, and there's always going to be some rust maybe when you hadn't played that sport in 4 to 5 years. But, I think he's a guy, give him all the credit in the world. He's come in, learned the playbook. He's gotten better each day he's been here. He's really attacked it, embraced everything we've asked him to do. So hopefully it's going to start showing up a lot more production on the field this week and for the rest of the season.